I'm Jim Johnson, and this is Dan O'Day of the Accents class.
Jim, something I've noticed in your coaching and in your teaching that is very different from other pros that I've seen is in addition to focusing on the technical aspect of speaking in an accent, you also delve into the culture from which the accent comes. Now, is this just kind of an extra thing for people who are intellectually curious, or does this really have practical value?
I actually do think that there is a practical value to it because sometimes there's like a shift in mindset that somebody can have that helps them to get the accent. There's often elements of culture that make their way into the way that people talk.
You come over one night to Larry's place. Come and watch your husband blubber into his pillow. It might help you develop a conscience. His big thing at the moment is how upset his family is. I mean, they all worshipped you. They can't understand why you had to go and ruin everything. The perfect woman. You know, it's taken me 6 months to convince myself that you're not better than me. Why did you do this? Oh, wait a minute. That's right. I forgot you fell in love. You know, that is the most stupidest expression in the world. I fell in love. As if you had no choice in the matter.
Lovely. Good, good, good. Yeah. So we have an intonation thing that we'll work on just a bit. And it's
Okay.
actually more of almost like a cultural thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's talk about that for a second.
Okay.
So I think the thing that makes it, because your sounds are going great. I hear you saying the I's and things in place to Larry's place.
Okay.
I hear you doing all of those things.
Okay.
Right now, they almost sound a hint crisp. And again, we need to sort of round the edges on it. And one of the ways that we could look at that is a little bit of just culturally, can you subdue your venom just a bit? And I think so like socially, culturally, just that little bit. For me, the extreme version of this is the RP with Maggie Smith that she does with 50% of her characters, where she says something truly horrible to someone, but she says it in the most friendly way. Do you know
Oh,
what I mean?
okay. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So just a bit. A bit less like coming straight out and letting them know how you feel, and just a little bit more like working your way around it. You know what? It's unfortunate that you are who you are. You know what I mean? That,
Yeah.
oh, you really
Doing
sound like
is
that
another
negative.
thing.
Yeah, so there's just that little bit of undercutting. And I think that's going to make a difference in the intonation as well. It's going to round those corners just a bit. Yeah, do you want to start? And we'll maybe only go part way through.
Okay. You'll stop me.
Yeah.
You should come over one night to Larry's place. Come and watch your husband blubber into his pillow. It might help you develop a conscience. His big thing at the moment is how upset his family is. I mean, they all worshipped you. They can't understand why you had to go and ruin everything. The perfect woman.
Yeah, especially after the first line, I think you found it more and more. Yeah. So even take the pitch range that you're covering right now and just mellow it out just a bit more. It's when it gets a little bit more extreme that you're verging on it, wanting to get a little bit sort of crisp. Just, can you hear what I'm going into now? I'm going further than what you did. But what you did was just a bit in the direction of that. Can you hear the sort of crispness to that? Even though I'm rounding it. You should come over one night to Larry's. Say, you should come over one night.
You should come over one night to Larry's place.
Don't even think of any change on night. Night. I think you've got it. It sounds like you're almost trying to do it. You should come over one night.
You should come over one night to Larry's place.
Yes, and now you nailed it on place as well, place. That was enough. So it is like a really subtle version, because in Cockney it was much more extreme. Come over one night to Larry's place. And then when you mellow out Cockney, come over one night to Larry's place. It's maybe a hint more mellow, but Estuary is even more, come over one night to Larry's place. It's like all of that just mellowed out even further. Is this making sense to you, Karen?
Yeah. Again,
And that,
doing it is the
it was
trick.
great. I think in many ways, what you just did is you almost had to stop doing anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is, you would only be able to do that if you'd already done this work. Yeah?
Oh,
I always prefer to teach this accent once we've gone into RP and Cockney. If I have my choice, it's so helpful because then we've worked so hard and then it's about let it go, let it go. Let's see what sticks, what goes well. Yeah, yeah. There's a really challenging phrase in this one, which is can't understand. And it's have to go back and forth between can't understand. Some people want to go can't understand or can't understand, and it's actually back and forth between those. Can't understand.
yeah.
And it's making you, but it's a very common thing that I've heard people do with this one, where the R then suddenly wants to come on to understand because it feels like you're switching back to American almost, maybe. I mean, that's what I think is sometimes the experience for people. So when you said it, the R was wanting to come on. And so we're going to also separate that, say can't.
Can't.
Understand.
Understand.
Yeah, understand.
Understand.
Yeah, can't understand.
Can't understand.
Yes, there you got it. That's it exactly.